Hello, and welcome to Craft Breweries of Milwaukee, a show where we'll explore the fascinating world of small, independent, and traditional brewing in the historic capital of the world, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm your host, Jason Waszak. Milwaukee has a proud history of brewing beer, dating back as late as 1843, when historian James Buck recorded 138 taverns in Milwaukee, or an average of one per 40 people. In the years that followed, Milwaukee became home to four of the largest breweries in the world: Schlitz, Blatz, Pabst, and Miller. These days, Miller remains the only of the big four operating in our fair city, but numerous smaller breweries have since popped up, trying to meet the famously unquenchable thirst of Wisconsin and beyond. One of those breweries is the Horny Brewing Company, a relatively new establishment located on the Kinnickinnic River in Milwaukee's Bayview neighborhood. Let's take a look.
My name is Jim Sorensen. I'm the owner of Horny Brewery and Horny Hideaway. We started in November of 2009. And it's been an adventure so far. We have many employees now, and my role here is kind of the idea generator, and they do all the implementation. I'm lucky to have a great staff.
My name is Dave. I'm the brewmaster for Horny Goat. I'm in charge of the beer. I make the beer, I write the recipes, I develop the recipes. I was hired at Horny Goat actually as the bar manager. I went to school for chemistry, and I always had an interest in brewing. And Jim Sorensen, the owner, and I just hit it off. He's just a great guy. And he said to me, I need a brewmaster. I know your background. Do you want to go to brew school? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to go to brew school. So he sent me to brew school, and it's been amazing ever since. I always tell people that I hit the job lottery, and I got very lucky. I absolutely love what I do.
We were fortunate enough to find this beautiful facility along the river in Milwaukee, the Kinnickinnic River. It was very underutilized before we had the opportunity to purchase it. It's actually an old pump house.
The main building itself was actually originally built as a high-pressure pumping station for the fire department. Changed owners a few times, and then we ended up buying it and turning it into this awesome brew pub / summer destination.
We were able to really find a great place to put a footprint in Milwaukee, not just for Horny Brewing Company, but we think that we're helping this area develop as well. It's been a good relationship so far.
One of our mantras is fun. We want to be fun, and we do things a little different than a lot of breweries, where a lot of breweries are developing recipes over time and getting them to where they want, and then naming the beer and releasing it. A lot of times we'll come up with a name first. We'll sit around over a couple beers and come up with a good name, and I'll make a beer to that. We have a 10-barrel system here, and it's kind of our pilot system. I can brew 10 barrels at a time. A barrel is equivalent to 31 gallons or 2 half barrels. So I can produce about 20 half barrels in a brew. And so we use this system to develop beers, and I'll try out crazy recipes and things. I just came up with a coconut porter. I really try to be creative and we do a lot of crazy things with the beer here, and use this opportunity to develop the recipes, and we'll tweak them. And once we get them to where we want them, we'll brew them on a grand scale up at Stevens Point for retail sale.
We don't consider ourselves just a brewery or just a brew pub, but an entertainment company. We really strive to, well, first of all, we want to make good beer, but we also want the people to have a good time while they're drinking our beer.
We're constantly updating our place, and things are always changing. Our latest endeavor was our BFT, our big fun tent.
In the wintertime, we have a domed, heated 3-court volleyball facility. We have the largest television in the Midwest at 16 foot by 10 feet. We still have our outdoor bar, which is heated. We have live entertainment acts here. We have local bands. We also have national bands coming here. So we present a good time for a consumer. We had 1,100 people here for New Year's Eve, and everyone had a great time.
You can find us in right now about 9 or 10 states. We just picked up a couple different states all around the Midwest. We did make it out to the East Coast, and we're making big strides. In the long run, we hope to build our own production brewery on site here. We own about 5 acres on this side of the river and 7 acres on the other side. So in the next 3 years, we hope to build our own full production brewery here, and that's when we can really expand a lot further while maintaining the integrity and the quality of the beer.
We do talk about different styles of beer, and you know, in the craft beer industry, styles are changing dramatically. It's all about new products. The consumer doesn't really have a lot of brand loyalty, so he's buying these mixed six-packs. You know, he's buying 6 different varieties of beer, so it's always important to keep coming up with new ideas. And Dave, you know, we're fortunate enough that we have a brewmaster who is very creative, who comes up with a lot of crazy ideas. You know, craft brewing is all about not being a conformist to beer industry. Anybody can make an Oktoberfest, anybody can make a Pilsner or a lager. The craft beer guys are all making these crazy little products out there, and it keeps the consumer interested, and they keep looking and hunting for, I've never had that product before, I want to try it. So you just have to keep coming up with new ideas, and sometimes the wackier the better.
As we all know, Milwaukee is rich in brewing history, and there's just a lot of great beer that has come out of this city.
Milwaukee has a great beer history. A lot of these breweries have moved out. You know, Pabst, Stroh's, Jacob's Best was a brewery here. There's literally dozens of breweries that have thrived in Milwaukee, and it's a very beer city. So, you know, not only does that give us local credibility, it gives us national credibility to be in Milwaukee.
You know, Milwaukee does have a lot of great beer being produced right now. Milwaukee Brewing Company is right down the street, and they're great friends of ours. Some really talented guys over there, and you know, we're happy to be a part of this awesome brewing culture that we have in Milwaukee.
The people are not drinking Miller Lite as much as they used to, or Coors Light. They are drinking our product, Horny Goat. They're drinking Lakefront. They're drinking Sprecher, Milwaukee Ale House, Water Street Brewery. We have a lot of craft beers here now, and I think the more the better. It just encourages these people to drink a better product.
For more information on the Horny Goat Brewery or Hideaway Brew Pub, visit www.hghideaway.com. So, what makes a brewery a craft brewery? The American Brewers Association defines it as any small, independent brewery that produces 6 million barrels of beer a year or less. Furthermore, they classify microbreweries as producing less than 15 barrels a year, and brew pubs as selling at least 25% of their beer on site, usually in a bar. Recently, Milwaukee's Lakefront Brewery broke through their 15,000 barrel a year ceiling to advance to what is known as a regional craft brewery. We went to find out more at their site under the Holton Bridge in the Brewers Hill neighborhood.
My name is Russ Klisch, and I'm the president of Lakefront Brewery. I'm kind of like a producer of a movie, and I'm making sure everything is just in its place and that everything happens as compared to like directors where they might be the more artistic people out there.
My name is Terrence Tolliver. I work here at Lakefront Brewery. I've been here for 6 years, and I'm a production supervisor. One of my main responsibilities is receiving the bottles, unloading the trucks to make sure we can have bottles to put beer in. Also packaging and loading the trucks to make sure that the beer we do make gets out into the world for people to drink and enjoy. Also, for people that come here on the tours, I'm responsible for making sure that there's plenty of beer to drink, that the beer is cold and it's at the right temperature, and that everyone has a good time.
This company came to be by overgrown home brewery for my brother and myself. I moved in with my brother after graduating from college. I bought him a book on how to make beer. He made a batch, and after tasting his beer, I thought, well, I could probably make one better. So I started making beer, and he made beer, and we entered our beer contest. We won a bunch of awards. Our friends started telling us, you guys should open up a brewery, and when you're 20-something years old, you know, you believe them. And so we went out and tried to get a big loan. We couldn't do that. What we decided to do was to start a brewery as small as possible to lose the least amount of money. And we found an old bakery building down the street from us in River West, where we were living, and we decided to put in a 55-gallon stainless steel drum brewery. And the River West neighborhood's an old Polish neighborhood. So on December 2nd, 1987, we rolled our first half barrel down the street to a bar and served it.
I'm from Illinois, and I moved here, like I said, 6 years ago. And I'm a Cubs fan by heart, so people don't hurt me. But they needed help with tours because the Cubs were playing the Brewers. And my girlfriend at the time was working here, and she asked if I could come help, and I had no idea what it was, where it was, or what to do. And when I came here, I obviously fell in love with the place, and I haven't left since.
Our brewery tours here are a little bit more unique than other brewery tours. My brother, I could give him credit for starting them off. He always likes to meet and talk with people. In an old location, he was always kind of a comic, and so he would take his opportunity to use his trade when he took people on the tour and just tell them some jokes along the way and try to make it more humorous. The fact that he gave beer first on the tour, which helped loosen people up, probably had a factor in this too. And I've always found that people's attention span while drinking beer is directly longer than without one in their hand. But since my brother's been given the tour, we have found a lot of other great tour guides. We have a lot of MPS teachers here who know how to talk in front of people and handle crowds. We give a lot of our tours. We also have another uniquely Milwaukee thing called the Friday Night Fish Fry. There's something like 1,000 of them in town here on Friday nights. It's a great place to come on down. One thing that makes our fish fry a little bit different is we have a two-piece Oompa band. So there's different things that we do here make us very successful. TripAdvisor.com has named us the 4th best brewery tour in the United States, and us and the Harley Museum go back and forth with TripAdvisor as being the #1 location in the city of Milwaukee.
My favorite beer is the Big Easy. It's a party beer. It's higher alcohol content. We make it for Mardi Gras celebration, so we do it in mid-January, and everyone seems to love it, and it's a party beer, and then I love it also.
Yeah, we're lucky to get the building that we're in right now. We bought it back in 1998 from the city of Milwaukee. If we wouldn't have bought it, it would have been torn down, so it's kind of a nice little history there that we were able to save the building because it has a great past. The building was originally built in 1908 by the Milwaukee Electric Railroad Company, and it was used to generate electricity for streetcars. So this was an old power plant at one point. And they generated electricity here till about the 1920-somethings, and until the power plant became obsolete. They then repaired streetcars and had their underground division for the electrical company here until 1960-something, until they sold to the city of Milwaukee for their forestry department, and we bought it from them. But we are, like I said, happy to be in this old historic building here in Milwaukee because it kind of shows the old manufacturing heritage of the city.
One of the best parts about working here is meeting different people. We're a small group. There's like 15 or 16 guys that work here, so we're kind of like a good family. And just seeing the people enjoy our product. I mean, everywhere I go, everywhere that people know that I work here, I wear a logo t-shirt or something. They say, hey, we love your product, we love your stuff. I just love that it's well respected in Milwaukee. It's such a small community.
Our company and the entire industry has received a lot of growth in the last several years. I know we just heard some statistics that craft beer is up 14% in the last 6 months. I believe people have discovered taste and flavor with beer, similar to a lot of other products you have. If you look back even the last 10, 20 years to things like bread, a lot of people just don't eat the old white Wonder Bread anymore. They want to have different tastes and flavor. Like ice cream, they have different tastes. Coffee is another good example where people have experienced a lot of different styles and types that they like to have, and a little more gourmet. Wine also, it's rare that somebody also always tries or drinks the same style of wine. And it's the same thing happening with beer right now. Everybody's fun. They understand the different ingredients that go in. We've been educating people throughout these years, and it's been paying off for us, for all of our craft breweries, where everybody's starting to grow now.
To learn more about Lakefront Brewery, visit their website at www.lakefrontbrewery.com. Did you know that beer is the third popular drink in the world, behind only water and tea? It's no wonder craft breweries are doing so well for themselves, given their wide appeal. Based on a few key ingredients and some imagination, brewers are able to make an incredible number of variations in the beer they create. The many styles and types of beer available means that there is always something new to discover for enthusiasts. We went to Walker's Point neighborhood to visit the Milwaukee Brewing Company and see what they were working on.
My name's Jim McCabe. I'm a principal and the founder of Milwaukee Brewing Company, and so I pretty much do everything.
My name is Robert Morton. I'm the head brewer for the Milwaukee Brewing Company. My responsibilities include recipe development, planning, scheduling brews, shipping, scheduling for South 2nd Street and our Milwaukee Ale House location, which is our brew pub.
The history of our company really started with home brewing. Back in the late 80s, I was traveling quite a bit as an engineer from Milwaukee out to Seattle and also Colorado, and the craft industry was starting to really flourish, and I always had this great love of the beer culture in Milwaukee. So I'd be coming back to Milwaukee and had this new appreciation for craft beer, and it wasn't really happening here. So we basically we being a college roommate and myself started home brewing, and it got to the point where we wanted to do it for a living. So that really was the genesis for the Milwaukee Ale House, which is a large brew pub that's been around now since 1997. That was how the Ale House started, and it was always with the intent that at some point the Milwaukee Brewing Company would grow out of the four walls of that brew pub environment. So what we did is we got a hold of this 15,000 square foot building a few blocks from our pub, and we started acquiring equipment, and that's what we used to put the thing together, and we now have a 50-barrel packaging brewery in addition to our brew pub. So that's the basic history of what got us from there to today.
Beer in itself isn't unique. Beer has been around, it's prehistoric. I mean, nobody really knows the first batch of beer when it was made, but the first records date back to prehistory of brewing, ancient Sumeria. So people have been making this product for a long time. I know for a fact that people used to drink onion beer a long time ago, and carrot beer and things like that. So what really makes our beer unique is just kind of our philosophy about brewing.
We really take a food approach to designing beers. In other words, there's a lot of balance and character to them. So definitely full flavored and always balanced. We never go into break a hop level record or something, and it's always with balance in mind.
We don't cut corners on ingredients. We do try to buy the best malt and the best hops that we can get. And so when it comes to just philosophy, I think it's just quality, and there's a word that's used a lot, is drinkability. I guess drinkability is a good one. Is we want a customer to find a favorite out of all the brands that we make, and stick to it, and still be willing to try some other beers that we come out with. So I think that's a good business philosophy also, because you're going to have loyal customers out there.
Packaging is the labor-intensive thing, where a lot of it's still very manual at our size. So what you see going on there is not only a traditional bottling run, where we're actually putting the beer in the bottle and manually casing it and palletizing it, but we also were doing another labor-intensive thing, which is a variety pack repack, where you're taking 6 flavors and manually repacking those into variety packs. So between those two things, those are very labor-intensive.
Definitely distribution is huge, and that's just based on demand, people just wanting the product. And then I think really the growth of the industry had a lot to do with just people being educated through social media, people understanding what quality beer is, and also people not necessarily wanting to drink the beer that their father drank.
I'd say the biggest reason for the last 3 years of rapid growth is that the world's finally turned to craft beer being just a niche thing to people coming right into their drinking years in their early 20s, recognizing these full flavored beers, and even though they may not have the budget for it, they'd rather save their money till they can afford a 6-pack of a full flavored beer than to squander it on a 12-pack of something of less flavor. So the mentality is definitely shifted, and that awareness comes from the fact that there's been a real acceptance in the distribution side of things, that this is the way the consumer wants things to go. And so now the beer's out there, the retailers are displaying it properly, and it's available.
So it has a lot to do with consumers, but I think just definitely education through social media and the distribution networks is exploding all over the United States, just making beer available. In fact, I mean, as our company grows, we're looking at new markets right now. It's daunting because we have to fill those markets. We have to make all that beer. So, a very competitive industry. And then you're looking at an industry also where today there's more varieties of beer, more breweries in the United States, active breweries in the United States there ever was in history. We're breaking so many records right now. And it's great. It's fast. It's a fantastic industry to be in right now. It's very exciting, but it's also scary because competition is getting pretty cutthroat.
I think what's fun about where we're at and the growth that we're experiencing, and especially with the new branding, is there's an opportunity for Milwaukeeans to really have an opportunity to have a fun identity with our city, and we really have a great city, great history, and obviously a great beer culture, and we want people to embrace it and be proud of the things that we are, and we can hopefully bring some of that attitude and culture to the table.
You can find out more about the Milwaukee Brewing Company at www.milwaukeebrewingco.com. In the last decade, a large number of people have taken up the task of brewing beer themselves in their homes. Whether as a hobby, a way to save money, or simply to enjoy the fruits of something you've created, home brewing is becoming more popular by the day. We traveled to River West to talk to one local man who was working on a pumpkin-flavored Indian Pale Ale and see how and why home brewing appealed to him.
I'm David Richard. I am a home brewer, kind of beer connoisseur, and I am also starting to work at a brewery, and I'm hoping to eventually open my own brewery someday. I've been homebrewing for a little over a year and a half, almost 2 years. It was kind of an outlet as a beer drinker and beer lover. I started paying more attention to what went into the beers and what the story was behind each beer, what kind of ingredients, how it, if it was made in any sort of different way. And so getting into that stuff, it seemed like home brewing, brewing my own beer was, the smartest route to go. And very shortly after that, it was kind of became a dream to hopefully do it professionally someday. I think that it's goes right along with everything else that's going on in our society right now with DIY things, and I think that people are just interested in having good things and trying to do things themselves and trying to discover something for themselves. With homebrewing, first and foremost, you're just kind of playing the waiting game, getting the water heated up, and then you're going to add your malt and make a wort, which is unfermented beer, having turned the starches in the malt into sugars so that the yeast has something to eat. And then after that, you're going to be doing the boil, where you're adding any spices, anything that you want in the flavor of the beer. And throughout the boil, you're adding hops in the beginning for flavor, and then as you go through the hop additions, the ones towards the end are more for aroma. They'll be the things you smell in the beer. And then after that, you cool it down and add your yeast, let it ferment for anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, even into 6 months to a year, depending on the style of beer. I still bottle my homebrew, force carbonate in the bottle, and then that usually takes about 2 weeks, and then you finally get to enjoy it and share it with your friends and family.
Aside from working at a local brewery, David is considering attending brewing school to learn more about the professional aspects of brewing, and he hopes one day to have a brewery of his own. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you found this information entertaining and informative. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll head down to my favorite bar. I've worked up quite a thirst.